Hey now, here's something amazing. A video that's not about The Last of Us. Dino is actually going to do something different. Whoa. And I really don't know why I'm doing this. It's not going to achieve anything, but you know how sometimes you get an idea in your head and it just won't go away? Now, this is something that goes back, God, it must be about 2 years now. And it was just a concept. Now, even though I had about 4 pages of notes on it, I just left it in the end, and that would have been maybe a year ago. But the idea rattles around my head from time to time, and I've started making videos, so sod it. If it's going to have any kind of permanent record, it might as well be here. Now, like I said, it won't go anywhere. No developer is going to look at my channel for ideas. How this all started was just a conversational comment from a friend, and it's something I'm sure we've all heard plenty of times. We're so reliant on electronic communication now, it's hard to imagine being able to exist without it. But of course, we used to. There was a time before computers and mobile phones. That wasn't the reason for thinking of a game idea, but it was something that was easy to incorporate. Now, I typed up maybe 2 pages of backstory, but it all needs to have holes filled, things joined together, and it really isn't worth explaining it here. I'll just keep it extremely simple because, in reality, this whole thing is about a gameplay concept, not the story itself. For some reason, it may have been a sharp increase in terror attacks, although I wouldn't want to make it political. The government bans most, and then all, types of electronic communication. Computers can be used, but there's no internet. And what started as the disabling of mobile phone calls got extended to texting. The only electronic communication now possible is by the authorities. This is now either a military-controlled or police state, it doesn't really matter, and they use heavily encrypted satellites. You have a guy, the player, who used to work in the communications industry long before the bans were put in place. And he'd developed something which is, I say something, we don't know what, but now it's a very desirable thing to some kind of rebel group. They might even be terrorists, it doesn't matter. But he's the only guy who can make it work, and it would allow them to use mobile phones without it being traced. I did have an idea and I'll go for it, and it's that this guy's wife and daughter are taken hostage by these people, and they will be freed if he joins them and makes this thing, whatever it is, possible for them. His journey is going to take him towards a major US city. He has to make several stops along the way to pick up information about his next contact point. This is always by finding a mobile phone loaded with a text message. So it's always a case of getting rid of the phone he has and collecting a new one, and this is all to do with traceability. But this is where the interesting gameplay comes in. His first stop is a very small town, maybe just a village, but the locations become bigger as he nears the city, major suburbs, that kind of thing. There will be some contrivance by which he gets a map as he arrives at each destination. As well as locating the next phone, these places are where he will stock up on various collectibles. Now, the player gets a choice. The game will always randomise the phone location in each place, and perhaps to a lesser extent where other supplies are, but each location is fully explorable. You can use the phone to read a number of text messages which, the more you read, get more specific about where the next phone is. They might even give you other useful information. The problem is that you're effectively on a timer. The longer you spend with the phone switched on, the more its signal gets picked up. As well as the authorities, there will be bandits who are exploiting a lucrative black market in phones and phone parts. So you may end up with a precise location for your next phone, but you'll be forced into combat depending on how long your current phone was switched on for. The longer it's switched on, the more enemies. Each location has a spy, not someone you'll ever meet, but they're keeping tabs on military and bandit presence. as you journey to the next place, you get the text letting you know roughly how many of each there are. This is obviously useful because the military will be better armed and better armoured, i.e. harder to kill. Weapons and ammo are almost entirely gathered through combat. There's almost none anywhere else if you just go exploring. But exploring is where you'll get health packs, phone parts to sell for other things, food, weapon upgrades and the like. Combat doesn't despawn all other collectibles, but there will be some kind of percentage system to reduce what's available at the precise location of the next phone. What matters, perhaps most, is that as locations get bigger, the overall number of collectibles doesn't increase, but the potential number of enemies always does. At the end of the game, there will be a big combat showdown, so it's a case of deciding how much ammo, weapons and upgrades you think you'll need to gather beforehand. In that last combat you can of course replenish ammo and even gain weapons, but only by killing enemies. So it may be that you'd prefer to not have to think about body looting by having all you need to start with. As in The Last of Us, there's no pause in the AI if, for example, you need to craft or upgrade something or replenish health. What I really like about this whole thing is that over repeated plays you can adapt your tactics, make different choices about exploration and combat. It's a game that might not even need a variety of difficulty levels because you can sort of determine that yourself. So there you are, it's just the bare bones of a gameplay idea, not an exploration of the actual game. And if any developer is watching this and wants to give me 3 million quid, just say the word, okay? It's always good to end with a joke. Thanks for watching, guys. Time for me to go and look at that luxury yacht catalogue. Ka-ching.